Hi, welcome. So I'm simultaneously teaching this class live and I'm going to record it to put it up on YouTube. So welcome, thank you for joining us. I'll mute everybody who's on live here right now and I'll unmute you all at the end. All right? So welcome. Please start laying down on your backs. And connect your whole back body to the mat. Oh, you did it, Neil. Whatever you did, you managed to do it. So awesome. Okay. All right, so start with your whole back body on the mat. You can draw your knees in towards your chest. You can hang on to the outsides of your shins. You can just rock back and forth here, just slightly through the lower back. Make some small circles with the low back on the mat. Ease into this. And take a moment to notice your breath. Notice where you're breathing into. And then see if you can make that breath a little bit deeper. Draw it all the way into the back body, the parts of you that are connected to the floor. And when you exhale, see if you can exhale fully and release everything out of the body. And then plant the soles of your feet just for a moment. And notice if your whole back body is connected to the mat. So sometimes the lumbar spine might be lifted up a little bit, and that's fine. But now press your low belly into the spine so you can flatten out that back completely. Okay? And then bring your arms to cactus. So that means your elbows will be roughly level with your shoulders, and the backs of your hands are going to be connected to the floor or to the mat as much as possible. And if you've got issues in your shoulders, maybe the hands will be lifted up slightly. That's okay. Just breathe into that and just flatten out that back body into the floor. And you feel some engagement in the core here right away. Nice. You'll feel that your chest is opening up towards the ceiling. Your shoulder blades are coming together underneath the back body. Breathe into this. Okay, now keep the arms where they are. Draw your knees in towards your chest. And then notice if anything's changed in your lumbar spine. Sometimes the back ribs lift up a little bit slightly. So draw those ribs down. And really, once again, just connect through the whole back body. Flex your toes back towards your shins. You're going to feel that nice engagement here in the whole legs and the core. All right, here we go. We're going to extend the heels towards the ceiling as we stretch our arms up long overhead, keeping as much of the back of the hand connected to the floor as possible and pressing up through the heels. Really pull the toes back towards your face. Flatten out that whole back. Notice if you've got a lumbar curve, if you've got an arch in the back, breathe into that. And then draw the knees into the chest. Bring your arms back to cactus. Keep as much of the arm connected to the floor as possible. Again, notice if any part of your back has lifted up. If it has, press it down through the shoulder blades, through the back ribs, through the lumbar spine. And here we go, extending the arms, extending the legs. Press up through the heels. Reach more through the fingers. That's it. And then draw the arms back to cactus. Bring the knees back in towards your chest. And you're squeezing the shoulder blades underneath you. You're flattening up that back one more time. Press up through the heels. Reach through the hands. That's it. Breathe into that. Draw the knees into the chest. Bring the arms into cactus. Okay, I lied. We're going to do this one more time just because I want you to feel this connection between the whole back body and the floor. Really press through the heels. Reach through the hands. It should feel like quite a bit of work here. And now you can point your toes and interlace your fingers behind your neck or behind the nape of your neck. So not into the neck, actually behind your head. And draw the elbows towards the floor so you're opening up the chest. Point the toes. Let's circle up the ankles here for a minute. Breathe into this. That's it, nice job. Okay, point the toes towards the ceiling. Point them so much that your hips start to lift up slightly. Tuck the chin into the chest and reach your chest towards your toes. Press the low belly into the spine. That's it. And now reach your fingers towards your toes. So they'll come out from back behind the head. Breathe here. And then bring your hands back to interlace the fingers behind the head. Lower the head and the shoulders, lower the hips. Draw the knees into the chest. Take a breath here. Hopefully you weren't holding your breath in that core exercise. Okay, here we go again. We're gonna extend the heels towards the ceiling and then point the toes a lot. Tuck the chin into the chest, curl up slightly. See if you can keep your shoulder blades connected, but you're lifting the heart. And now lift the heart towards the toes. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Lift the hips. You're pointing the toes so much that your hips are lifting. One more breath here. Press the low belly into the spine and lower the head and the shoulders. Bring the knees into the chest. Ha. You can circle up the ankles or flex your feet, whatever feels good here. And here we go again. Pressing through the heels to start, then point the toes. Point the toes so much that the hips lift. Bring the heart closer, tuck the chin in slightly. We're lifting up. Lift, lift, lift. Draw the elbows back, and you're trying to get your heart closer towards your toes. Breathe here. Push the low belly into the spine. And lower the hips, lower the head and the shoulders. Let the elbows rest, bring the knees into the chest. Nice job. Take your hands away, take them to the outsides of the shins, and you can just rock back and forth here slightly. Breathe into this. Okay. Plant the sole of your right foot on the floor and take your left leg and cross it right over top. So you're coming into eagle leg. So maybe your left toes will wrap around the back of your shin or not, it doesn't matter. Just bring that leg in as close as you can, that's it. And then bring the shins to parallel. Good. And then once again, interlace the fingers behind the low back. So rather than drawing the knees into the chest, keep the shins parallel, and you've got a nice 90-degree angle here with your legs, theoretically, okay? And now tuck the chin into the chest. We're gonna lift up slightly, and then you're gonna just take your toes and tap them to the floor, and then lift the shins up again. Take the toes, tap them to the floor, lift the shins up. So you're pressing that low belly into the spine. The core is working here, and lift up. And one more, tap the toes to the floor, bring the shins back to parallel to the floor, lower the head and the shoulders, and then extend your arms over to the right side. Take your knees over to the left. And then we're just gonna pulse here, lifting the head and the shoulders off the mat, reaching the fingers as far away from you to the right side as possible. You're taking your knees over to the left. So for 5, 4, 3, getting into the side obliques here, 2, 1. Reach the arms up, lower them down to the floor, press the palms into the floor, and now press your toes away from you, keeping the shins vertical. Just take them away from you, but keep flattening the whole back to the floor. Palms are on the floor, chin into the chest. And then lower the head and shoulders, draw the knees in. Give yourself a squeeze here. You can unwrap the legs, bring them in towards the chest, circle out through here. Nice job. All right, plant the sole of your left foot on the floor. Fully cross your right thigh over top of the left. And take whatever eagle legs you can on this side. So maybe the leg is just beside, the right leg is beside the left shin. That's okay. If you're gonna wrap the legs, that's fine as well. And now bringing the palms down just for the minute. Bring the shins to parallel. So just take a look at your shins. They should be parallel to the floor. And you've got a nice 90-degree angle here. So the knees aren't coming in towards the chest. You're taking them slightly away so that they're over top of the hips. You're gonna feel the engagement here. Good. Let's interlace the fingers behind the low back and interlace your hands in the opposite way. So the non-habitual way. Tuck the chin up into the chest, lift up slightly. Try to take the elbows back so you're lifting up from the heart. That means you're gonna push the low belly into the spine more, and here we go. We're tapping the toes to the floor and then bring the shins back to parallel. Knees are over the hips. Tap the toes to the floor, bring the shins to parallel. Knees are over the hips. Tap to the floor, bring up, keep using that core. Tap to the floor, bring it all the way up, that's it. Bring your hands down to the floor, take them over to the left side, take your knees to the right. And here we go, we're going to pulse for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring the hands back to the floor. Really take the shins away from you, so draw your toes away from you. Breathe into this, and then lower the head and the shoulders. Unwrap the legs, bring the knees into the chest. Nice work. All right, take your hands behind the backs of your thighs, and you can rock along the length of your spine and come to a seated position in the middle of your mat. How was that for some core work? Pretty good, right? All right, sit up nice and tall. And just take a moment here to cross your legs, find a Sukhasana that feels good. Circle out the shoulders as you're doing this. That's it. So we've worked some of the core here. We're going to give it a little bit of a stretch. So inhale to reach up. Bring the palms together to touch. We're leaning over to the right, staying heavy in the left sit bone. Allow the right hand to come to the floor. Reach the left arm up and over. And then take that right hand a little bit behind your hip. And if you can come into just a slight back bend here, so you're pushing that right shoulder forward, maybe taking that left hand behind, opening the heart towards the ceiling. So you might get a nice stretch in that area that we've just worked here. Breathe into that. And then circle that hand down and around and across. Bring the left hand beside the left hip, reach up and over with the right hand. Reach through your middle finger and stay heavy in the right sit bone. Take that left hand slightly behind the hip, and you can draw that left shoulder blade forward, that shoulder head forward, and that'll allow you maybe to roll the chest towards the ceiling, get a nice stretch in the whole opening front of the body. Breathe into that. And then release that hand, bring both palms together up to touch. Nice job. Get a little bit taller here. Release the hands, bring them into stop sign hands, and then take your right ear to the right shoulder. Breathe into this. Turn your nose towards your right shoulder. Tuck the left hand in behind, and just notice where you feel that in the neck, maybe in the right hand. Extend that left arm back out, bring the neck back to neutral. Left ear to left shoulder, press out through the right palm. And then turn your nose towards your left armpit, tuck it in. Take the right hand, tuck it in behind, so you might get a stretch in the back of the neck here. Breathe into that. And then reach that right hand back out. Bring the neck back to neutral. Interlace your fingers behind your low back and bring the thumb knuckles right to that lumbar spine. Yeah, and then crack the heart open. Try to have your elbows disappear behind you. Hi, Bella. Extend the knuckles away from the sacrum. Maybe reach up through the heart a little bit more. Breathe into this. If you can, flip onto the backs of your hands or just tent your fingers behind you. Press into that and lift up from the middle of the chest. So you're opening the heart, squeezing the shoulder blades. Maybe the neck will drop, but you can keep the neck neutral if it doesn't work for you. Breathe into that. And then carefully bring the arms forward like you're holding a big beach ball here. Take the shoulder blades back behind the sit bones. Feel this in the top of the hip flexors. Breathe. And then inhale, reach up. And release the arms. Shake that out. Okay, come off your block. Come into a tabletop position in the middle of your mat. As you know how, arms are outer shoulder width apart, fingers are spread, toes are tucked, right? Versus untucked. Take some cat-cow here with your own breath, pressing the floor away. Exhale to fill up the whole back body. Inhale to soften, release the belly, lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Exhale to engage, fill up the whole back body. Inhale to soften and release. Move through that with your own breath a few times. If you want to spin your hands around, you've been with me a few times now for these classes, you can. Thumbs face out. If you want to get a little bit more of a stretch in the forearms, you can do that. Modify this if you wish. If palms aren't working for you, you're going to bring your hands into fists. So always modify what you need. Bring the hands back. That's it. And now walk your hands a little bit forward of the shoulders and take your knees a little bit back behind the hips. So you've got this elongated tabletop shape. Make sure the toes are tucked. We're gonna shift the weight forward, pulling the low belly into the spine, the shoulders are over top of the wrists, hinge straight down at the elbows, and then press the hips back towards the heels, tuck the chin into the chest. Keep the toes tucked. Round the spine forward as you once again draw the shoulders all the way over the wrist. So rolling cat-cow, hinging straight back at the elbows. Take it all the way back. And move with your breath here. Make sure those elbows stay glued to the rib cage when you're pressing yourself back. And you might not lower down very much, that's okay. Build strength in the shoulders. The next time you find your hips at your heels, stay heavy there. Tent your fingertips and take the forearms and your forehead off the floor as you lift up from the armpits a little bit more, building strength in the fingers. Breathe into this. Good, and then come back into tabletop, untuck your toes, take your knees wide, reach your arms out in front of you, and let the heart melt towards the floor a little bit more. Breathe into this, circle out the wrists if you wish, let your forehead rest on the floor. Connect back to the breath. Bring the palms back. And let's come back into tabletop, tuck your toes. Take a downward facing dog. And take lots of movement in your down dog here. Wiggle up through the hips. Breathe into this. Take a look at your hands, spread through the index finger and the thumb mound a little bit more. Really press that mat away from you. That's it. Breathe here. Notice where your breath is. See if you can slow it down a little bit more and maybe slow the movement down a little bit more. Get deeper into the back line of the body. All right, and now come high up on your tippy toes. Bend your knees a lot so you can get your hips further up and back. You're pressing into your hands more. Your chest is coming towards your thighs. Keep the hips nice and high, and then slowly start to draw the heels towards the floor, but pull your heels back behind you like you're trying to lengthen out your foot. And then you're taking your shins back more and your backs of your thighs, your hamstrings back more. So that will automatically give you lots more engagement in the whole back of the leg. And then press into the hands a little bit more. So you're inhaling to expand, exhaling to release and let the heels come to the floor a little bit more. Stay with the sensation in the backs of the legs. Inhale to expand, press into the hands a little bit more. Exhale to release the heels, draw them back a little bit more. One more like this, full inhale, full exhale. And now float forward to plank, top of a push-up. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. Pull the belly up into the back body. Stay long out through the crown of the head. Full inhale here. Lower the knees. For this first one, hinge straight back at the elbows. We're gonna lower all the way down. Chest is gonna arrive first, then the belly, then the thighs. Untuck your toes. Take your fingertips wide off the mat. Engage the legs. Inhale, peel the heart up off the floor. Strange cobra. Exhale, lower down. Do two more like that with your own breath. Full inhale. Full exhale. One more full inhale. And full exhale. Nice job. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, tuck your toes. Press yourself through tabletop. Come into a downward facing dog. And take a full inhale here. And a full exhale. From down dog, take your right leg up and back. Lift up through the heel. We're gonna come through the center, shoulders over wrist. Pull your knee in towards your chest. Hollow out the belly. And then take that right leg up and back again for a three-legged dog. Take your time, have the movement follow the breath. And here we go, shoulders over wrist, right knee to right elbow or back of the right tricep. You can always bring the left knee down if you need to. Three-legged dog, up and back. Coming through the center. Shoulders over wrist, pull the knee into the chest. Right knee to left elbow. And then extend that right leg out to the side, out to the left. Take your right hand, place it in the middle of the chest, under the shoulder. Come to the inner blade of your left leg, outer blade of your right foot. If this doesn't work for you, you can always come down onto the hips or even onto the forearm, okay? So here we are, pressing into the blades of the feet, lift the hips, reach the arm up. Bring the hand down, draw the knee in towards the chest. We're gonna step that right foot forward and take your left foot into a warrior one position. So your left toes are pointing to the top left corner of your mat, and then you're gonna inhale to reach up, come into a nice standing position. Good. Bring your hands to your waist. Check to see that your hips and your shoulders are coming to the front edge of the mat. Bend the right knee a little bit more, make sure it's over the ankle. Good, square that up. Warrior one's a tough pose. You're probably feeling that on the inner line of the left leg. That's all right. Let's bring the arms to a T. And take the left arm underneath the right, coming into eagle arms. Lift the crooks of the elbows up towards the eyes, bend more into the front knee. Breathe into this. Now option to stay here or hinge forward at the hips and just slowly tuck those arms on the inside of that leg. Breathe into this, press more into the outer blade of the back foot. And then slowly come all the way up. Nice job. Release the arms, bring them up. Bring your hands to the floor and step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale as you arrive. Good job. Exhale, forward fold. That's it. Grasp opposite elbows. Allow the weight of the arms to draw the torso down the spine. Just sway up through this. Halfway lift, inhale, release the elbows. Inhale, lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands to your waist. Draw the elbows towards each other, press into the feet, come all the way up to standing. Good, I'm gonna back up so you can see me. Nice. And now heel toe the feet together. Inhale to reach up. Bring the palms together to touch. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see what we're doing. We're going to reach the right arm forward and the left arm back. So just a nice sway here. Keep extending through the left fingers. Bring that back. Right arm forward, left arm back. So lift up straight from the heel. Come all the way up. One more time on this side. Right hand forward, left hand back. Really press into that standing leg. Come back. Let's try the other side. So left arm is going to come forward. Right heel is going to lift up, and you're just hinging. You're hinging at the hips, really engaging the toes on the right foot, extending through the fingers on the left. Keep the other arm reaching up. Come all the way up. That's it. Here we go. Left arm forward, right heel up. You might lose your balance. That's okay. One more time. Hinge at the hips. Stay long in the right arm. Press into the left foot. Come all the way up. Nice work. Pull your hands down through heart center. Let it go. Take a halfway lift here. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees deeply. And you're going to plant your hands, step the right foot back. Keep the back knee lifted. If you've got your blocks, this might be a great time to take them under the hands. And take whatever height of the blocks you need. Okay? Step the back foot in. About halfway, so you're kind of in a mini warrior one. Your right toes are pointing roughly 45-degree angle to the top right corner of your mat. And now press into your blocks, straighten the back leg, straighten the front leg, extend through the spine, send your sit bones towards the ceiling, and draw the chest down the front thigh. Maybe the forehead or the nose will come to the knee. Breathe into this. Nice job. Okay, bend into the front knee. Step that foot back behind you like you're coming into a high lunge. So now your heel is over your big toe mound. And allow the torso to come down any amount that you wish. So we've done this on the floor many times, but keep this back knee lifted. Lift the heart. Extend through the spine. Yeah, so get a nice stretch here. Breathe into this. And again, take whatever height of the blocks you need. Okay, nice job. Straighten the front leg. Option to stay on that back toe and press into the blocks or into your hands and draw the torso down the thigh. Or option to step that back foot in like you just did so that the heel comes to the floor. So you've got a few options here. Try to keep the hips square to the front edge of the mat. Really get nice and long in this front leg. It helps to press into the blocks. Breathe into this. Okay. If your back heel is lifted, you're going to step it back in. Okay, so for that shortened warrior one position, take your right hand to the inside of your left foot and keep extending the heart forward. So get as much extension in the spine as you can. Take your left hand to your hip. I recommend keeping both sides of the neck nice and long. Use your block as much as you need. Twist towards the left. And you might feel that in the back hamstring. You might feel that in the outside of the right calf. Breathe into this. Option to extend the left arm towards the ceiling. So this is revolved triangle. It's tough. Breathe into it. You're getting a stretch. You're using strength. Twist. Lots going on. Breathe into it. Carefully bring that left hand back down. And now we're going to pick up that back foot and just lower the knee down. So come into a low lunge. Yeah. Take your blocks aside and come into an Ardha Hanuman. Well, you can keep your blocks, I suppose. Come into an Ardha Hanuman. So straighten the front leg. Pull the toes back towards your face on the left foot. Extend through the spine as much as you can. And then draw the chest towards the thigh. Maybe point and flex this foot. Breathe into it. Plant the sole of the foot. Take your right hand to the floor. And just open. Nice twist here. Maybe picking up the back knee. Bring the other hand down. We're going to step all the way back. Downward facing dog. Take a full inhale here. And a full exhale. And then float forward to plank. Top of a push-up. Shoulders are over the wrists. Take a full inhale here. Stay for the exhale. Draw the crown of the head away from the heels. You can lower the knees or hinge straight back at the elbows, keeping them glued to the rib cage as you press all the way down. Untuck your toes. Let the forehead rest. Slide your hands underneath your elbows. Squeeze the elbows together. That'll bring the shoulder blades together. Engage the legs by pressing into the toes. Let's peel the heart up off the floor. Stay long in the neck. Breathe into this. Keep the toenails on the mat. You'll feel the knees lift because the legs are working hard. Squeeze the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades. Lower all the way down. Here we go again. Engage the legs, press into the toenails. Take the elbows behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades, peel the heart. Maybe hover the hands slightly, keep the neck long. Option to lift up through the feet as well. Breathe into this, and if you want to try and draw the big toe mounds together, that'll add another layer. Breathe here. One more breath here on the belly, please breathe. Exhale, lower down. Stack your hands under the forehead. Wiggle out through your hips. Connect back to the breath. Hopefully you weren't holding your breath on the belly, but sometimes we do. All right, bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes. We're gonna come into a child's pose. Bring your knees together, toe mounds together. Sit your hips back. Spider tip the fingers. Walk your fingers over to the right side in a semicircle. Take your hips to the left. Tuck the chin into the chest. Breathe into this whole back body here. Into the side of the left body. Breathe. And then spider tip your fingers. Walk them in a semicircle over to the other side. Send your hips to the right, your fingers are on the left. Maybe the left palm comes to the floor and the right palm comes on top. Just get into that nice side body on the right side. Breathe into this. And then carefully come all the way back to center. And uncurl one vertebrae at a time. Coming all the way up. That's it. Inhale, reach both arms up. Pull them down through heart center, interlace the fingers, press them away from you, chin into chest. Take the shoulder blades back behind the sit bones. Inhale to reach up. Bring your palms to the floor, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Take a full inhale here. Notice your hands. Are they helping you out here? Really press them away from you. Feet are hip width apart and parallel. Here we go. As we inhale, we're drawing the left heel up and back. Keeping the hips level, coming through the center, shoulders over wrists, knee into chest. Pause here. Take it all the way up and back. Three-legged dog. Shoulders over wrists, left knee to left elbow. Pause here. Take it all the way up and back. Three-legged dog. Last time, shoulders over wrists, press the floor away, cross the left knee under the body over to the right side. And then extend that left leg out to the right, come to the outer blade of that foot, inner blade of the right foot. Left hand comes to the middle of the chest. Make sure it's underneath the shoulder. Take the forearm or the hip if you wish. Really press into the blades of the feet to lift the heart, press the hips up. Breathe into that. And then carefully bring the hands down. Pull the knee up, and we're gonna step it forward. And come into that warrior one. So now your right foot is coming to a 45-degree angle. It's pointing to the top right corner of the mat. Take your time to set up the base. The left knee should be over the left ankle. And then press yourself up into a warrior one. Good. Bend into that front knee. Hands come to the hips. That'll allow you to square the hips and the shoulders. And press a little bit more into the blade of that back foot. So this is tough on the hips. Maybe the inside of that right leg. Breathe into that. Yeah. Take the arms out to a T. Nice job. Right arm is going to come underneath the left. Take eagle arms on this side. Remember, your hands can come to the shoulders, but lift the crooks of the elbows up to the eyes. And bend more into that front knee. Press more into the outer blade of that back foot. Breathe here. Good. All right, here we go. We're hinging at the hips. Press more into the front foot. That's going to give you some balance. Really anchor that back foot down. Maybe tuck the left shoulder inside the left knee. And then press all the way up. Nice work. Strong on the legs here. Release the arms. Bring them all the way up to the floor. Good. Here we go. Bringing the hands to the floor. Take your blocks. Step that back foot in about halfway for a shortened warrior one. Good. And now press into that front foot. Press into the front foot. Send your hips out behind you. Really lengthen through the spine. Use your hands here. Keep the spine nice and long. Draw the torso down the front leg. Notice where you feel this. Breathe into it. That's it. Okay, bend into that front knee. Pick up the back foot and come on to the ball of the back foot. So you can come into a deep lunge. You might need to scooch the toes forward on the left foot because you want to make sure the knee stays over the ankle. And you're going to extend long here. Let the pelvis be heavy. See if you can keep the heart lifted. Yeah. Breathe into this. Bring the back knee down if you need to. Okay, don't suffer here. That's it. Breathe into that. Nice job. I can see you all. Neil, you're going to scooch your toes forward a little bit more. Protect your knee a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Okay, straighten the front leg. Option to stay on the ball of the back foot or step it in slightly if you wish. Find whatever you can so that you can get a nice stretch here. So you're trying to send your hips back. Really press into the front foot. Pull that right heel back. Use your blocks or your hands. If your hands are on the floor, just press your fingertips into the floor. You get the same effect here. That's it. Nice job. Got the wrong foot forward. Okay. So now your left foot is forward, correct? Yes. You're going to bring your block on the inside of you're going to bring your right hand on the inside of your left foot. The left foot should be forward. I think I screwed you guys up last time. I apologize for that. I always seem to do one per class, right? This is what happens when you mirror. Okay. If you haven't done this leg, this is the leg. If you need to switch legs, go ahead. Make sure that you're doing both sides. So your hand's gonna come to the inside of your front foot. You're gonna take your hand to your waist. You're gonna step that foot in slightly if you need to, and then you're gonna just twist in the opposite direction of what you did before. Breathe here. So again, pulling that heel back, pressing into the front foot, and extending the arm up if you wish, maybe looking towards that hand. Wherever you are is good. Breathe into it. It's where you're meant to be. Carefully bring the hand down to the mat and step forward. Take a halfway lift here when you arrive. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go. Bring your hands to your waist. Squeeze the shoulders on the back. Press into the feet. Come all the way up to a standing position. Good, and shake out the legs. Okay, we're gonna zip up the inner lines of the legs. So come to a nice standing position. All right, bring your hands to your waist to start. We're gonna bend the knees slightly and then cross the right thigh over top of the left. So you're coming into eagle legs here. So we did this on the floor in our warm-up. You can bring the toes to the floor if you need a little bit of support, or you can just hug the shins towards each other, whatever works for you here, eagle. Okay, if you need support for the hand for balance, do that. And then just keep the shoulders over the hips, just hinge back slightly. Take your arms out to a T, and we're going to take the left arm underneath the right. Good, so bringing your arms to eagle. You're ready for this. We've warmed up the shoulders, we've warmed up the legs. Here we go. Lift the crooks of the elbows up towards your eyes. Sit your hips down as you take your elbows up. So get length in both sides of the waist. Use a drishti if you can, use a focal point. Breathe into this. It's like you're sitting into a chair. Sit a little bit deeper, lift the elbows a little bit higher. Breathe into this. Here we go. Press into the standing leg. Straighten that leg. Release the arms. Bring the right knee in towards your chest. Reach up through the hands. Press out through the heel. Bring it to the floor. Let the arms go. Good. That's it. Nice job, everybody. That's awesome. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Zip up the inner lines of the legs. You know you've really got to press into your standing legs. Bring your hands to your waist just to start. Bend the knees slightly so you're quite buoyant here. Cross the left thigh over top of your right. And this side might be different. If you can, have your thighs connect. Sit back in your chair. Decide what you want to do with the left toes. They can be on the floor for support. You can wrap them around the back of your right calf. Bring the arms out to a T. And now the right arm comes underneath the left. Bring your arms into eagle. This side might be different, might feel different in the hips, might be a little bit wobblier. That's okay, just stay with it, use your breath. Sit your hips down, get heavy in the heels, lift the elbows up. Breathe into this. Full, slow, deep inhales. Full, slow, deep exhales. Sit a little bit deeper, lift the elbows a little bit higher. If you fall, just get back into it. It's no big deal, it's only yoga. One more breath here. And then press into the standing leg, bring the knee up into the chest, release the arms, reach them up, get nice and tall, press out through the sole of the left foot, and stick the landing. Release the arms, and relax. Good, very good. Inhale to reach up. Pull your hands down to your heart center. Let it go. Halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen that heart forward. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees deeply. Plant the hands. We're stepping the left leg back. Good. That's it. And lower the back knee down. Coming into a Ardha Hanuman on this side. Stretching the right toes out in front. Breathe into this. That's it. Pull the toes back towards your face. Maybe point and flex the foot. Bring the sole of the foot to the floor. Let your blocks go. You can take your left hand to the wide edge of the mat. Just a nice open twist here. Maybe extend out through that back leg. Breathe into this. Bring the hand to the floor. And step all the way back, downward facing dog. Whew. Take a full inhale here. And a full exhale. And then bring your knees to the floor. And you can take a cat-cow. That's it. Maybe even take a log roll here with the hips. Breathe into this. Okay, from here, we're going to do pigeon or 90-90. Okay, so I'll show you pigeon, and then if pigeon doesn't work for you, you can take a 90-90 pose. So if you're coming into pigeon from tabletop, your right knee is going to come outside your right wrist. The leg is going to come across the body. The shin does not have to be parallel to the front edge of the mat. Okay, we're all built differently. My shin will never do that, just the way my hips are built. Okay, but you're going to engage the toes on that foot. So it's either flexed to protect the knee or pointed. Okay, it's not sickling. Extend the left leg out behind. Square your hips and your shoulders to the front edge of the mat. If you need support under that right hip, go for it. Okay, you can stay here, or you can slowly start to lower down. See how heavy you can get in the pelvis. Shift that right hip to the right, maybe slightly back to center. You might notice where you need the stretch in the glute, in the hip. Breathe into that. If you're in 90-90, if this doesn't work for you, your front leg is your right leg. It's going to be parallel to the short edge of the mat. Back shin is your left one. It's parallel to the long edge of the mat. And then your whole torso comes over to the right. You have a block here to help you with support for the head. You can relax into this. And then if you wish, you can just slowly start to walk your body towards your midline, so towards your front leg. But then when you find that sweet spot, you're going to let your head rest on something. So you're taking the work out of holding the head and the torso. Same thing in your pigeon. You can have something to support your head here. Breathe into this. If you want to go deeper in this pose, you've been in pigeon, you're breathing, you feel like your hips are letting go a little bit with every exhale, you're not holding on to the tightness, maybe you're going to bring the torso to upright. Maybe you're going to reach back with the left hand, bending the left knee, bringing the heel towards the bum. So this is much deeper. Feel free to ignore me. You can have your hips and shoulders open to the side, or you can square your hips and shoulders to the front edge of the mat. That's even deeper. So again, you can use a strap here, offering all kinds of options. Feel free to ignore me. But maybe this feels like what you need. Wherever you are, breathe. Yeah, that's it. You guys are doing great. And then slowly, if you're hanging onto that foot or you've got your strap, you're going to let that foot go to the floor. Nice job. You're going to roll onto your right hip. You're going to bring that left foot in front. You're going to bring both feet to the floor, to the wide edges of your mat, and just slowly windshield wiper through the legs. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and then you're going to swing your legs over to the right. Your hips are going to come to the left. You can come back into your tabletop if you're coming into pigeon on the left side. The left knee is going to come outside your left wrist. You're going to extend the right leg out behind. And again, check to see that your hips and your shoulders are square. The left leg is engaged, regardless of where it is, of how parallel it is to your mat. That's it. Breathe into this. You can stay here. You can use support here. Or you can allow the torso to drape forward. So that's going to open you more over to the left hip. Try and relax that left glute. Relax into that hip, and you can shift slightly here, a little bit to the left, a little bit back towards the midline. Notice where you need it. Breathe into this. If you really want to go deeper, you're going to take your right arm across to the left and come down onto that right side of the cheek. Okay, now if you're a 90-90, now your left leg is parallel to the short edge. Right leg is parallel to the long edge. Toes are engaged on both feet. Draw the torso to the side. Walk towards the midline. And again, take the weight out of holding the torso and the head by placing a block under the forehead. Breathe into this. And this is a beautiful hip release as well. A little less intense than pigeon. One side might be different than the other depending on what you have going on in your hips. Meet yourself where you are today. That might be different than on other days. If you want to go into the thigh stretch and pigeon, you're bringing the torso to vertical, lifting the heart, bending the back knee, reaching back with the right arm. Again, opening the hips and the shoulders to the right or scoring them to the front. Breathe here, wherever you are. Full, slow, deep inhales. Full, slow, deep exhales. And then again, just release that foot with control. Don't let it slingshot to the floor. Come onto the left hip. That's it. If you're a 90-90, you brought your torso to vertical and you rolled onto your left hip. You're gonna bring your legs to the front of the mat. Take the feet wide, toes out. Nice windshield wiper here. Good. Okay, and then bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your hands to your ankles or to your feet. You can bring the heels closer to your torso or further away, but lift up through the heart. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Try and hinge at the hips. So keep the spine long, send the sit bones out behind you, and draw the heart through the shoulders. That'll get a deeper opening on the inside of the legs rather than curling through. That takes your shoulder blades back behind the sit bones. It's nice too, but different. You're getting more of an opening if you hinge at the hips and keep the spine nice and long. Draw the heart forward like you've got a little bungee there. Maybe the insides, the backs of the arms come to the insides of the legs. And breathe into this. Yeah. Full, slow, deep inhales. Full, slow, deep exhales. For the last couple breaths, tuck your chin into your chest. Curl through the spine. Bring the forehead or the nose a little closer towards your feet. Maybe the palms come out in front of you. Maybe you're going to choose to drape one arm under each thigh. And notice how that feels. Breathe into that. And then wherever you are, slowly uncurl the spine, bringing it up to vertical. Take your time. Take your hands to the outsides of the shins. Ooh, extend your legs long out in front. Okay, sit up nice and tall. Zip up the inner lines of the legs, so your toe mounds, your shins, your knees are gonna come together. Maybe take your sit bones back a little bit behind you, so just taking the flesh of your bum back. Yeah, that'll give you the idea of extending the sit bones up behind you, lengthen through the spine. Now, you've got blocks, you've got your hands here. If you need to bend your knees to accommodate your lower back or your hamstrings, you're gonna do that. But it's like you've got a cord pulling the heart forward. Walk your fingertips forward slowly. Hinge at the hips. So rather than curling through the spine, hinge at the hips. Get the idea of keeping the spine long, sending the sit bones out behind you. That's it. And bend your knees if you need to. Point your toes or check and see if pointing or flexing gives you something different. Notice how you feel in the body. Try and get the heart as long as you can onto the thighs. Breathe into this. And then if you wish, you can tuck your chin into your chest. Maybe the forehead or the nose will come to the knees. Breathe into this. And then slowly use your fingertips to walk yourself back to a vertical position. Shake out the legs. All right. Bend your knees so you can plant the soles of your feet. Take your hips up to the front of the mat. Make sure you've got room behind you to lower down. Keep the feet anchored to the floor. Reach your arms forward. And then take your knees wide, yeah. And then tuck the chin into the chest. We're gonna come back just slightly. And then we're gonna reach forward. So you've gotta lift up using the core. Pull the heart forward. And then tuck the chin into the chest. Take it back slightly. Keep the feet glued to the mat. Lift the chest, come forward, hinge at the hips, take the knees wide. Come back a little bit more each time, but keep those feet glued. So you're gonna feel your core start to work a little bit more each time, or your abs anyway. That's it. And that one a little bit more. I'm not gonna tell you how many more times yet, but we'll do a few more. Reach forward. And come back. So each time a little bit lower, maybe the low back is on the floor now. Now use your strength to peel it up. Keep the feet glued, reach forward, good job. And then now slowly just uncurl, keeping the feet glued to the floor. Tuck the chin into the chest. A little bit slower, a little bit slower, a little bit slower. That's it. Lower all the way down. Nice. Okay. Bring your feet underneath your knees. So your knees are bent, the soles of your feet are planted. About hip width apart and parallel. Take your right foot and flex the toes on that foot and cross the ankle over top of the left thigh. Your left hand's gonna come to your right ankle. Your right hand's gonna come to the inside of your right thigh. So you're doing just a very slight opener here through the hips. Breathe into that. Notice how that feels. Keep the toes flexed. Now allow that right foot to come over to the left side of the body. You're gonna bend and come onto the outer blade of the left foot. Maybe the foot will come to the floor, maybe it won't. Maybe you need a block underneath the foot. Plant it as much as you can. Keep opening that right knee to the right. Take the right arm out to a T. And this is a deep hip opener too. Who asked for hip openers today? That's it, breathe into that. Okay, slightly pull that right knee in towards the left so that you can bring both knees up in towards the chest. Curl up, so now the foot is flexed on the left leg. Your right knee is out to the right. The ankle is still on the thigh. You're gonna reach through for a figure 4 stretch, so right hand comes through that opening. You can interlace the fingers outside the shin or behind the thigh on the left leg. If you can, use the back of your right arm to encourage that right hip to open a little bit more. Really engage the toes on both feet. There should be no pain in the knee here. Breathe into this. That's it. And then carefully take the right foot off the left thigh. Bring both knees into your chest. Curl, rock out through the lower spine. Breathe into this. Nice job. Plant the sole of your right foot. Flex the toes on your left. Cross the left ankle over top of your right thigh. Your right hand will already be at your left ankle, and your left hand is going to just gently encourage that left hip to open any amount. And it might not be very much, but over time, this is a great way to get into the hip a little deeper. Breathe into it. Okay, here we go. We're gonna come to the outer blade of the right foot and then allow that left foot to cross over for a twist. You might need your block to support the left foot. Take the left arm out to a T. Keep opening the left thigh, knee, hip to the left, so away from your torso. Breathe into this. This is an intense hip opening, bit of a twist here as well. And then carefully draw that left knee towards your right shoulder. Pull both knees up so you can take the right foot off the floor, flex both toes, reach the left hand through that figure 4, interlace the fingers around the right shin or the right thigh. Maybe the left arm is encouraging that right hip to open a little bit more. Flex the toes a lot, protect your knee. Breathe into this. One more breath here, full inhale. Slow, deep exhale. And then carefully lower that right foot to the floor. Take the left ankle off. Whew. And you can just You can plant the soles of the feet and windshield your knees from side to side if you wish. Breathe into this. That's it. Now a couple of options here. I'm going to offer either recline butterfly. So the soles of your feet will come together. You'll let your knees fall open. Or stacked butterfly. Again, a little bit deeper. If you're going to do stacked butterfly, you're going to allow the right thigh to open to the right. Heel toe that right foot a little bit towards the left. Flexing the toes on the left foot. Take the blade of the left foot to the crook of the right knee. And then allow the left hip to open. Take your hands to your belly. If you need support underneath the left hip or the left thigh, but it should feel like a nice release, not painful. Flexing the toes to protect the knees. Breathe into this. Full, slow, deep inhales. Full, slow, deep exhales. Okay, keeping the toes flexed. Draw the left knee over to the right so that you can bend both knees into your chest and circle them around to protect the low back. Plant both feet. If you're in reclined butterfly, you can stay there. If you're coming into stacked butterfly, you're going to heel toe your left foot towards the right, allow the left knee to fall open, pick up the right leg, flex the toes on that foot, and then the blade of the right foot is going to come into the crook of the left knee. And you're effectively stacking your shins, allowing the right knee to open to the right. Breathe here. This is my new favorite pose. And hands can be on the belly. You can have support under the right hip or the right thigh. Wherever you are is good. Breathe into it. Notice if your back is arching up to accommodate your hip. If it is, then maybe this is not for you. You want to release the spine. Release the belly. And then when you're ready, if you're in stacked butterfly, you're going to draw that right knee over to the left. Bend both knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And the last shape is yours. Happy baby. Maybe drawing the spine long. Or maybe you need a supine twist. Knees to one side. Lots of options here. Maybe you need dead bug. Extending the hands and legs towards the ceiling. Maybe you're ready for Shavasana. But wherever you are, take a few minutes to take the last shape that your body needs. That's it. And then get ready to come into final resting pose. So you might dim the lights wherever you are. You might add an extra layer to get a little bit cozy and warm. Maybe you've got a piece of music. I have my yoga playlist up on Spotify. It's called Zoom Yoga 2020 under my name. So there's lots of, if you're in my classes with me, those are lots of the songs that I use. It's tough to talk and play music at the same time on these Zoom classes, so you're certainly welcome to play your own music during class. Wherever you are, remove any obstacles that might be in your way. Let your whole body sink into the mat. Close your eyes. Release your jaw and your throat. And then starting with your toes, let go of your toes, your shins, your calves, your knees. Let your hips be heavy. Release the low back and let your belly button fall into the spine. Let your back ribs be heavy. Take support under the knees if you need it, or a pillow under the head if you need it. Release your fingers and your wrists, your elbows, your triceps. Let go of your chest and any need to control your breathing. Take the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth to relax your jaw a little bit more. be really heavy. Release your cheeks and your eyelids, your forehead, the throat. Coming into the depth of your practice, take a few minutes of complete stillness. So good for the body. Let go of what no longer serves you. Let your body soak up all the goodness that you did in class today. The work is done. Shavasana. You can remain in Shavasana as long as you wish. If you'd like to join me in Sukhasana, then just slowly start to wake up your body. Small movements in your wrists, your ankles, your toes. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Side out the mouth. Maybe one more like that as you reach your arms up overhead, away from your feet. Big inhale, big stretch. Deep inhale. Let it all out. And then as you're ready, you can slowly, from your laying position, roll to your right side. Tuck your knees up into your chest. You're welcome to take a few breaths here. And then again, as you're ready, just slowly make your way back up to Sukhasana, to that easy pose, taking your hips up a little bit higher than your knees. And notice how you feel in your body. Notice how you feel in your breath. Yeah, notice if the corners of your mouth have maybe turned up a little bit by creating a little bit of movement in the body and getting the breath going. I know I always feel better. Bring your hands to heart center. And take this moment to acknowledge the good work you've done for yourself, for the resilience you're building in your body and the strength. It's a crazy time. Give yourself lots of slack, say nice things to yourself, be kind to yourself, stay well. It's always my pleasure to guide you through your practice. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to end the tape now and I'll load this up.